Your cat does not love it when you pet it. I know that one stings a little, but here's the thing. Your cat has been telling you that for years. Every single time you reached out, every time you ran your hand down its back and it went stiff, walked away, or just turned around and bit you out of nowhere, that was not attitude. That was not your cat being weird. That was a direct message and you missed it. Every single time. And here's what nobody around you is going to say out loud. The way most people in America pet their cats is not affection. It is stress, wrapped in good intentions, delivered with a smile, and your cat has been gritting through it in silence because it lives in your house and it has nowhere else to go. If that hit a little close to home, good. Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you're going to know the 3 physical signs your cat throws right before it bites. Signs you've definitely seen before and completely misread every single time. And you're gonna know exactly what to do when you see them. The specific way to connect with your cat that makes it want to be near you. Not because you're forcing it, but because it chooses to. That's the part that changes everything. Let's go now. Before you go track down your cat and apologize, let's clear something up real quick. Your cat is not miserable. It's not traumatized. And it definitely does not hate you. But there is a gap. A big, uncomfortable gap between what you think is happening when you pet your cat and what is going on inside that animal's body. And that gap has a name. Scientists call it petting-induced aggression. Most cat owners in America just call it "my cat is weird." But it's not weird at all. It's one of the most documented and most ignored phenomena in the entire field of animal behavior. Veterinary behavior research shows that nearly 50% of cat owners have been scratched or bitten by their own cat during what felt like a completely normal petting session. Half? That's not some fringe number. That's your neighbor, your coworker, your mom, the one who's owned cats her whole life and still can't figure out why hers goes from purring to attacking with zero warning. And not one of them ever stopped to ask why. They just chalked it up to the cat being moody, unpredictable, just being a cat. Here's the part that should really mess with you. Your cat is not unpredictable, not even a little bit. It has been sending you clear, consistent signals for as long as you've owned it. You just never learned what they meant. And that's the whole problem. You've been having a full conversation with this animal for years, and you didn't even know it was talking. All right, here's the part that explains everything, the biology. And I know that word makes some people want to bail. Stick with me, because this is the piece that makes everything else click. A cat's skin is loaded, densely packed with sensory receptors, way more than what you and I have. We're talking about a system sensitive enough to detect a single hair moving out of place. Think about that for a second. One hair. In the wild, that's not overkill, that's survival. That level of sensitivity is what tells a cat that something is creeping through the grass toward it at 2 in the morning. It's a threat detection system built over millions of years of evolution. And here's the thing, it never turns off. Even when your cat is curled up on your couch looking completely unbothered, that system is live, running in the background, always. So when you reach out and start petting your cat, you're firing up that entire network at once, and for a little while, it feels good. Those first few strokes trigger oxytocin, the bonding chemical. Same when humans feel your cat is truly enjoying it in that moment, you're not imagining that part. But that sensory system, it doesn't have a dimmer switch. There's no gradual fade. It goes from feels good to completely overloaded, and it happens faster than you'd ever expect. And the second it crosses that line, the same stroke that felt like affection 10 seconds ago now hits your cat's nervous system like a threat signal. Not an annoyance, not okay, that's enough. A full-on body-level danger response. And what does any animal do when its body screams danger? It protects itself. So that bite that came out of nowhere, it didn't come out of nowhere, it came out of a nervous system that hit its limit. And you kept going, not because you're a bad owner, but because nobody ever told you the limit existed in the first place. So now you know, your cat's nervous system is basically one careless stroke away from flipping into full defense mode, which means you need to learn the 3 signs that happen right before it does. And here's the wild part, you've seen all 3 of these before, multiple times, you just didn't know what you were looking at. First sign, the tail, not a big wagging motion like a dog. We're talking about a slow, low flick, back and forth, almost lazy looking. Most people see that and assume their cat is just relaxed or zoning out. It's not zoning out. That tail flick is the feline equivalent of someone tapping their fingers on a desk during a meeting they never wanted to be in. It is irritation with a countdown attached to it. This is sign number 1. If you see this, Pay attention. Second sign, the skin ripple. You're petting your cat and suddenly the fur along its back does this quick, involuntary twitch. Like something moving just under the surface. People usually think they just hit a really good spot. They didn't. Think of it like your cat's body physically flinching away from something it can't escape. That twitch is its nervous system saying, that's enough. It's not asking nicely. It's the last step before the ask becomes a demand. When you see the skin ripple, the session is almost over. Third sign, the head turn, your cat slowly rotates its head and looks directly at your hand while you're petting it. Not at you, at your hand. Most people think this is adorable. It is not adorable. Your cat is locating the source of the problem. It is deciding what to do next. You are being assessed, and depending on what happens in the next few seconds, you may or may not pass. This is the final warning. After this, contact happens. These signs don't show up randomly. They show up in order. Tail first, then the skin ripple, then the head turn. Every time, your cat has been running you through a 3-step warning system your entire life, and most owners blow straight past all 3 without blinking, and then they're shocked when the bite comes. Your cat was never the unpredictable one, and once you see these signs, you cannot unsee them ever again. Now here's where everything changes, because knowing the signs is half the battle. The other half is doing something different when you see them. And the good news? The solution is way simpler than you think. You don't need to retrain your cat. You don't need special equipment. You just need to nail 3 things: where to touch, when to stop, and how to build the kind of trust most cat owners never even knew was possible. Let's go through all 3 first. Where to touch. There are spots on your cat's body that are genuinely welcome. The base of the ears, right under the chin, the cheeks just behind the whiskers. These areas are loaded with scent glands, and when your cat lets you touch them, it's not just putting up with you, it's marking you, claiming you as its own. In cat language, that is the highest compliment you are ever gonna get. So from now on, short strokes aimed at these spots only. No long dramatic sweep down the back, no base of the tail, and the belly, leave it alone unless your cat physically pushes into your hand and holds it there. Even then, go slow. That invitation can be pulled at any second. Second, when to stop. The moment you see that tail start to flick, you stop. Not one more stroke, not just finishing this one right then. Pull your hand back, calmly, no big reaction. Just stop. When you see the skin ripple, the session is done. End it immediately, give your cat space, and let it reset on its own terms. And if you ever see the head turn, you're already late, but pull back slowly and stay still. No sudden movement. Let your cat be the one to walk away. Here's what happens when you consistently do all 3 of these. Your cat starts to notice that you listen, that you respect the signal. And an animal that feels heard doesn't need to escalate. The biting drops off almost immediately. Most people who try this are genuinely shocked at how fast the dynamic shifts. Third, how to actually bond with a cat on its own terms. And this is the part that's going to feel completely backwards at first. Stop chasing the petting. Seriously, instead of reaching for your cat, let your cat come to you. Sit near it. Be present without grabbing. Hold your hand out low and let it sniff you first. Let it make the first move. It feels wrong when you're used to just going in for a pet whenever you feel like it. But this is the specific thing that flips the entire relationship. Because when your cat approaches you on its own and leans into your hand, that is not a trained behavior. That is not a cat tolerating you. That is a choice. And a cat that chooses to be near you is a completely different experience than one that just puts up with you. That's the real shift. Not more petting, better petting. Less reaching, more waiting. And a whole lot more respect for what that animal is telling you, because now, for the first time, you actually know how to listen. And here's the deeper reason all of this works. Because underneath everything we've just covered is a truth about what cats are that most people never stop to fully absorb. Cats have lived alongside humans for a very long time, and in that entire stretch, they never fully domesticated. Dogs rewired themselves over thousands of generations to read human faces, to chase human approval, to need us in a deep biological way. Cats did something entirely different, something a lot more calculated. They moved in close enough to benefit from what we had, the shelter, the warmth, the food, and they gave just enough back to make the arrangement work. But they never surrendered their independence. Not even close, because underneath every house cat curled up on your couch right now, is an animal that is physiologically almost identical to a small wild predator. The instincts are still in there. The sensory wiring is still in there. The need to own their own body and their own space completely still in there. And that is the thing most people never truly reckon with. We brought cats into our homes and started treating them like small dogs, like creatures that exist purely to receive our affection whenever we felt like handing it out. But that was never the deal they agreed to. Your cat did not choose submission. It chose proximity, and those are not even close to the same thing. One is a relationship, the other is a transaction. Once that really lands, the biting, the walking away, the stiffening up, none of it feels random anymore. It all makes complete sense. Your cat was never broken. It was just never understood. And now you understand it, maybe for the first time ever. And once you understand it, really understand it, it changes the way you see everything that came before. You spent years believing you understood your cat. You fed it, sheltered it, loved it in the most genuine way you knew how. And your cat chose to stay. Not because it was trained to, not because it needed your approval, but because on some level, the arrangement worked. And when you really think about what that means, an animal that never fully domesticated, that never rewired itself to seek human validation, that has been running on pure predator instinct for thousands and thousands of years, and it still chose your couch, still chose your lap, still chose you, just maybe not on your schedule, not always on your terms, and definitely not when you're going in for that belly rub it absolutely did not ask for. So the real question, the one I want you to sit with, isn't whether you've been petting your cat wrong. You already know the answer to that. The real question is whether you're willing to meet this animal where it is, to learn its language instead of waiting for it to learn yours, to understand that the most profound thing your cat can give you isn't obedience, it's a choice. A voluntary, totally cooled leave but didn't choice. And every single time your cat walks into the room and just sits down near you, it's making that choice all over again. Quietly, without any fanfare, without needing you to notice, that's not a small thing. That's everything. If this video shifted something for you, even just a little, hit subscribe, because this is exactly what this channel is built for. Not just cat facts, but the real stuff, the stuff that makes you understand the animal sharing your home and builds a relationship that works for both of you. And if you want to go deeper, the next video is going to hit different. Because we just spent this whole video talking about how your cat has been assessing you this entire time. Well, the next one breaks down exactly what your cat sees when it looks at you. Every move you make, every time you walk into a room, every time you make eye contact. Your cat is running a full assessment on you. And most people are failing it without even knowing that one's right up next. I'll see you there.